Asian News is brought to you by VegasLifeTV, Asian Cultural Alliance, and the Manila Express newspaper. Good day, Las Vegas. I'm Diana Fung, and this is Asian News. The month of August is indeed a very busy month at the Asian Culture Center. The 5,000 square facility opened up just a few weeks ago and is already bursting with activities. And in less than 2 weeks from today, the Asian Culture Center will have its grand opening with the Honorable Mayor of the City of Las Vegas, Carolyn Goodman, cutting the ceremonial ribbon in a program hosted by Emmy Award winner Steve Shore. Festivities begin at 3 p.m. on Monday. Check out acclv.org for more details. And tonight, the Asian Cultural Alliance hosts a meet and greet with the new head of the South Central Area Command of the Las Vegas Metro Police Department. Let's go ahead and watch some footage that we took.
When they don't know how many officers we actually have.
那么就说我们总共是有200万个 too many police， too population， 我们的人口是200万，但是呢，我们的资源是
million employees, and the other half, so approximately 2,500 police officers. Okay, so we have 2,500 police officers, but that's not how many are on the street right now. Okay, out of 2,500, approximately 1,000 are detectives, so they're wearing civilian clothing. They're not wearing uniforms.
总共警察局的雇员是5000，但是呢50%只有2000。
后呢，受伤的是他的孩子或他自己，就是不会用。
So in the spirit of time, can I just thank everybody? And if you have questions or would like to talk to myself, I'll be sticking around and maybe we can talk one-on-one and I'll answer any questions. But I know that we're running behind on time. And but I really quick just wanted to thank you very much for your time and your attention. And that this partnership that we will work together.
因为时间不够了哈，那么谢谢大家啊，我们以后要合作，他就强调这个合作。
Asian News was recently visited by Congressman Joe Heck, a GOP candidate for the U.S. Senate representing the state of Nevada, to a campaign kickoff where he thanked all of his supporters and volunteers. The Asian Culture Center will be hosting a meet and greet with the candidates from all the political parties on Saturday, August 27th. This will allow all registered voters to learn more about the candidates running for public office from city, district, and state levels. You really need to check out acclv.org so you won't miss out on these important events. On our next segment, I will be talking to the CEO of VegasLifeTV, Steve Shore, who is the producer and host of the show Under the Vegas Sun. It is broadcast locally through Cox Channel 96 and 1096 4 times a week, and internationally through Walk TV and Roku. Our weekly Asian News episodes are also being made available to over 10 million Roku households through VegasLifeTV. So don't go away. Asian News will be right back. This segment is brought to you by Asian Cultural Alliance. Welcome back to Asian News. I'm Diana Fung, and I'm honored to have Steve Shore grace our show. Actually, I snuck onto Steve Shore's set and got a chance to interview with him. Or was it the other way around? All I know is he taught me how to relax and engage in a conversation. So here's how it went.
So let me ask you to start off the question. Why are you doing this? Why did you determine, out of everything that can be done in your lifetime, that you wanted to do and become part of a TV show?
It actually wasn't something that came out of my own mind, I guess. My dad kept pushing me to audition for this. And so, I mean, in high school, I was in broadcast journalism and involved heavily in that, but kind of lost track of that after college. And so I decided to just start up again.
Your dad is an icon within the Asian community. I've known your dad for a long time. Your dad and I go back many, many years in the struggles that the Asian community have faced over the time. Asian community for a long time was not taken and seen as having the importance that it really has today, especially. Mm-hmm. How much pressure do you feel that you're your dad's daughter, now representing the Asian community within this TV show that you're doing?
It's not really a pressure, it's actually a pleasure, and I'm more happy to be a part of it than anything else. You know, I don't feel any amount of pressure just to live up to what my dad has created.
You must know your dad different than I know your dad, because the dad that I know of yours likes to put pressure out
he does,
there.
absolutely.
He enjoys that.
But I grew up with that, so it's different. I totally grew up under that kind of mold. So,
do you think that what you're doing will provide the Asian community with a new outlook, with a new viewpoint as far as this community is concerned?
I hope it does, and I think it will, because there isn't anything else like it, I don't think, in the Vegas Valley. So,
what would success look like to you? If somebody would say, all right, what is success going to be? How would you respond to it?
In terms of my own personal success or the success of this center?
In terms of what you think success would be.
Success would be having a job that makes me absolutely ecstatic to get up every morning, and also a family that's loving and kind to each other. That's what success is.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what do you want to ask me?
Oh, I have some questions to ask you, Steve.
Well, go right ahead.
Gee, well, we're just getting to know each other. We've only known each other for 5 minutes.
That's all it takes.
Oh my goodness. So how did you get started with this entire industry? Like, what kind of I mean, I know you've been in it for very long.
I started in a very strange way. I am by training a speech pathologist and audiologist. I went to college to become a speech pathologist and audiologist. Interesting. And have my degrees within speech pathology and audiology. Actually, I was going to become a rhino-otolaryngologist, is what the big term for what I was going to be. I was the chief clinician for the state of Missouri in its clinic, and I worked with a child who was aphasic and hadn't spoken because of the terrible conditions that he was born and raised in. And I had worked with the child for a couple of years. And the first time the child said anything in the world to anybody, he said, "I love you." He said it to me. I knew right then and there that I could not become a speech pathologist and audiologist because I became too emotionally tied to those, and you can't do that. Mm-hmm. So I really didn't have anything else to do. I had worked at the college radio station, and everybody kept on saying, "Gee, don't you have a nice voice? Why don't you do something with it?" So I started working at a very, very small radio station, learned my trade, got a background, went back and got a further degree in journalism, so I knew what my job was going to be, and worked my way up. Wow. Was actually pretty big. I was a television news anchor and a news director in the number 4 market in the country, Philadelphia. Oh, wow. And unfortunately, my youngest boy became ill, and we made a decision to leave Philadelphia to try and save his life, and we moved to Las Vegas. It was the best decision I ever made. So I moved from the number 4 market to the 136th market. Okay. And it was a tough decision, but again, it was the best decision I ever made.
So what part of that, I mean, you having to move from Philadelphia to Las Vegas, like why was that the transition?
Primarily because of the weather conditions in Las Vegas. The weather conditions in Philadelphia, because of the mold that is born through the wetness and the humidity and the change in temperature all the time. It was literally killing him. And and in Las Vegas, you didn't have that at that time.
Right.
The humidity was never above 2 or 3 in Las Vegas when I first moved here, and that was 41 years ago. Today's rather different. But and today, that son who is very ill is a captain in the Clark County Fire Department.
Oh, wow.
To show you what a difference life can make.
That is a huge difference. So, I mean, as far as that transition from going, because you went back to school, right? Was that hard? Because were you older than the rest of the students?
I was older, a little bit older, not much older, but the transition wasn't that hard because I wanted to gain that knowledge that I felt as though it was going to be my future.
Okay.
And that's what it ended up as.
Okay. Are we gonna start, or
we're starting? We're running.
We're totally running right now.
We've been running.
Oh, we've been running.
Yes, we've been running.
We're like running on a treadmill right now,
know,
like little hamsters.
we're running.
Oh my gosh. Okay, now I'm getting nervous. You're kind of like where I want to be, like as far as success-wise and like career-wise, because you've already kind of discovered like where your passions are. That's, I mean, for someone like me, where I'm still kind of getting started in my life, like what kind of advice would you give me or like younger people that are still trying to find?
You said words earlier that I want you to write down, put to memory, keep with you all the time. And that is passion and happiness. I've been in this business now for 45 years. 45 years. And in my 45 years, I have never, ever stopped feeling that I can't wait to wake up in the morning. I knew that I was going to be here today, and I was on pins and needles because I couldn't wait. I love doing a TV show. I love informing the community. And then I found out earlier that I was going to sit and talk with you, and that got me even more excited. You never want to do anything for money in the world. What I learned a long time ago is when you do something for money, sure enough, in a period of time, you're going to end up unhappy because the money ends. And then what are you going to do? So for me, being a communicator, being able to talk to the audience, being able to tell them what's happening in their world has always been the core of my existence. At the same time, my other half, the other part of who I am, is an individual who cares about his community. So ever since I was a young man in Philadelphia, the things that meant something to me was to ensure that civil rights were not just 2 words, they were a lifestyle. That diversity was always a part of my life and who I was. That giving back became the cornerstone to who Steve Shore was. I was born in the projects in Newark, New Jersey. My family didn't have anything. I lived in a cold water flat with my sister with a single bedroom, and she and I lived on a couch together. Where I am today, I have a public school named after me. And every single time that I think about that, I go, thank you, God, for allowing it to happen in my lifetime. It's been a merry-go-round. And I don't ever want to get off because I try to keep on grabbing that brass ring every single time I go around.
Yeah. You are such a passionate person. That's so amazing. So, I mean, how did you come across meeting Carl and everyone involved in the like Vegas Life TV or Asian News?
It was perchance. It was a happenstance of a meeting. And sometimes those happenstance meetings, those things that you don't really know are going to happen, this sitting with you today, you never know what kind of impact that will have. And Carl and David Tupaz and the people that I became involved with became an extension of who I was. Again, I've always been a person of people. Not of race, not of color, not of creed, not of national origin, of people. And I think that's what has always driven me forward. And when I met Carl and David, It just was a marriage that I kind of felt was meant to occur and meant to be there.
Necessary to fall. How did you get a school named after you? That's what I want to know. I want to have that happen.
That's probably a half an hour story all into its own. I will tell you that I had absolutely nothing to do with it. It was
Really?
It was done completely behind my back by people that were friends of mine, driven by my two sons, and once again, and I knew nothing of what was happening until after the decision was made by the Clark County School District. And my younger son, who was a firefighter, came to my house after the vote was taken, after the decision was made to name a school after me, and knocked on the door in full firefighter uniform.
Oh, wow.
And I feared something was wrong. And he
Yeah,
came
yeah.
inside and he said, "You got to sit down, Dad, because I have something to tell you." And I went, "Oh no, what is wrong?"
Yeah.
And he told me that the school district just voted to name a public school after me.
How incredible.
It was a very emotional time.
That is so amazing. I couldn't even imagine. So, as far as the Asian community goes and how passionate you are about civil rights, where do you see these struggles, and how have you seen that change since my father started this community?
Do you know, I wish I could say I've seen the change. I wish I can tell you that. I see where we are today in society, back where we were in the 70s, in the 60s, when civil rights, when equality was not there. And there were those of us who were out there struggling. I was the news director and anchor of the #1 black radio station in America. I was.
Wow.
And I remember walking down Broad Street at a protest with people like Jesse Jackson, the Reverend Leon Sullivan. I remember us saying that day that one day we'll look back upon this and say, look where we've come as society.
Absolutely.
I don't know if we've got there. If anything, I think we've gotten worse. I think we've fallen back. And I think, hopefully, what the Asian Cultural Center will do is open the eyes to people. The Asian community is very, very important to Southern Nevada. Very important to Las Vegas. It's the fastest growing diverse demographic that we have in Southern Nevada. And people, what people don't understand, they fear.
Absolutely.
What people don't see and interact with, they make up sometimes the wrong impression. And what I see happening with the Asian Cultural Center is the potential for people to open their eyes, to open their hearts, to find out. And maybe that's where we begin again. You know, I'm very proud. I was a member of the Latin Chamber of Commerce. I was a member of the Urban Chamber of Commerce. I've always been about people.
Not
Because,
so-
you know, underneath it all, our hearts look exactly the same. And if you share a heart, you share a people.
Absolutely. Wow, that's amazing.
One final question. One
final
question if
question?
you had to ask
Okay.
me, what would you ask?
I know that the Asian community is, as far as politically, they're considered like the silent majority. How do we, if you have any advice, go about pushing or advocating that Asians do get involved politically?
You have to stand up and be counted. And it's not about a political party. It's not about pointing one person in one direction or another. It is getting people to stand up and be counted. It's as simple as that. We have a great society in America. But we have a society because enough people stood up and said, I agree, or I disagree. But they became voices. The Asian community needs to raise their voice, needs to be heard, needs to stand up and be counted.
Thank you, Mr. Short.
Thank you.
Isn't Steve Shore fantastic? The Asian Culture Alliance is so lucky to have a leader like Mr. Shore supporting the Asian American community in the city of Las Vegas. This segment was brought to you by Asian Culture Alliance. This segment is brought to you by the Manila Express newspaper.
So today I want to teach you guys how to make a grain mix that is not only high in protein, high in fiber, but it's also very delicious and it's very filling. 今天呢，我想教大家怎样做一个养生米。经常我们在超市里面看到这个养生米呀、什么杂米呀，我们都知道对我们身体很好。但大家知不知道，在家里面我们就可以做养生米？今天呢，我就想来教大家怎样做养生米，我每天都吃。So first of all, I have brown rice. Brown rice is a source of many beneficial nutrients, including fiber, magnesium, zinc, and vitamin B6. Putting it into the bowl. That was pretty easy. Right. So next one we have the red rice. Red rice, it's great for lowering cholesterol. Chinese have used red rice for treatment for indigestion, poor blood circulation, and diarrhea. So we're dumping that into the bowl as well. So next one is black rice. Black rice is very good for you. It has even higher protein amount than brown rice. Just a spoonful of black rice contains more health-promoting antioxidants than that are found in a spoonful of blueberries, but with less sugar and more protein and fiber and vitamin E. So next one we got pearl barley. Pearl barley is a very good source of fiber and selenium, phosphorus, copper, and manganese. We have mung beans. According to Chinese herbal medicine, mung beans clears body heat, toxins, plus it adds a great boost of protein. Here, mung beans. It's kind of small. Mung beans. I love mung bean soup, by the way. Here we have millet. Millet, when cooked, it could be creamy like mashed potatoes or fluffy like rice. It's a delicious grain that can accompany many types of food. It's a great source of minerals, especially helps with indigestion. Next one we have buckwheat. It is very good for your cardiovascular system. It may contribute to blood sugar levels and lower the risk of diabetes. This is the last one we have. I'm gonna put everything in the mix. Now we're just gonna mix them up. You know, eating a whole grain diet is really good for you. It helps prevent diabetes. It provides you the daily nutrients, give you a lot of protein and many of the minerals that you need for your diet. I love this mix. It also tastes really delicious. Okay, so we're done. So you have the grain mix here. 那么这就是我今天要说的五杂养生米。So I'm going to shake it a little bit so it mixes evenly. So all you have to do is to cook them as your regular rice. I usually use 1 part of rice to 2 parts of water. It depends on your rice cooker. But of course, this is very good for you, especially if you have a family. I'll see you next time. This is Shannon Yang.
This segment was brought to you by the Manila Express newspaper.
Hello, I'm Steve Shaw. I've been proud to host the TV show Under the Vegas Sun. We've had mayors and entertainers and some of the true movers and shakers of Las Vegas. Well, we're growing again. We'll now be seen in 209 cities in America through our network, Walk TV, as well as in 6 foreign countries. And in Las Vegas, we'll also be seen 4 times each week on Cox Communications, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m., and now Sundays at 7 p.m. on channels 1096 and 96. I just wanted to say thank you.
This segment is brought to you by VegasLifeTV. You're watching Asian News, and I'm your host, Diana Fung. Here's the dish of the week from Café de Cebu, Las Vegas.
This week, our signature dish is our famous roasted pork belly, also known as lechon. Lechon is a term used in many Latin countries, Spain, and in the Philippines. Lechon means a roast pork dish. Our lechon is slow roasted for at least 4 hours, marinated with different kinds of spices with our signature liver sauce. The lechon comes out in a very tender meat with a crispy and crunchy skin. Come and try our delicious lechon, available every day at Café de Cebu, located at Jones Boulevard near Desert Inn Road. Café de Cebu offers catering services, parties, and events. Call us at 702-538-7588.
Remember, if you're an Asian who lives in Las Vegas, or someone who just flew in from Asia, or someone who loves ramen, bulgogi, or satay, Asian News is for you. Delivered to you Mondays and Fridays weekly on this channel, and the daily on your favorite social media. I'm Diana Fung, and thanks for watching Asian News. Asian News was brought to you by VegasLifeTV, Asian Cultural Alliance, and the Manila Express newspaper.
This has been a presentation of VegasTV.